Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together.
Welcome to the top travel destination. For me, it's Christmas. Christmas gives me a shiver up the spine. And my shiver up the spine is made all the better by my wonderful colleague and ski instructor extraordinaire, the one, the only, the lovely Aileen Eglington.
What an introduction, Kevin. It's great to be here.
We did this last year. It's sort of like an annual event. I'm just going to give you a very short 1 minute. The love I have for Aileen really knows no limits. She was the first person to take me on a ski slope many years ago, and she showed me how to go from side to side. What's the bicycling thing you showed me? Was that carving?
It is carving, essentially, because the skis are different these years, and it's easier to make those turns.
Yes. Well, we won't get too technical for those who hate skiing, who may be listening in. We've gone around Christmas markets. I can remember one evening in Seoul, we arrived and it was -10 and we went tobogganing and it was so cold and so wonderful.
Yes.
So if you want to know about Christmas markets, which is our first topic today, you cannot go to anyone with more experience and more enthusiasm and more love for the subject than Aileen. So I'm really delighted to have you here, Aileen.
Thank you. When you asked me to come, I started to think about all the places I'd been for Christmas markets over the years. And just going back in the history, it's the history for me of Middle Europe. It's that whole idea that these markets date back to the 14th, 15th century. It's great that Ireland and England is trying to do them. And I particularly like Winterval down in Waterford. But you need to go to Europe. You need to get those redolent smells, just the buzz of the Christmas market. And I'm lucky, I was just in Vienna last week. And, I think until people go away and go abroad and go to Germany, go to Austria, they won't get it. That's me. That's exactly how I feel.
Okay, so if you were sitting in front of someone who says, listen, it's a bit commercial. I'm not really that interested. I'm certainly not interested in getting on a plane. What would you say to them to persuade them?
I'll tell you what I'd say. I think it's about all of us taking back the streets. The one thing that I found when I was over in Vienna last week is I felt so safe. There were families out on the streets. There were neighbours out on the streets. People were just going. It wasn't just about tourism. This thing about being commercial, everything's commercial. Shopping's commercial. So what? If people can make a few bob or a few extra bob at a Christmas market, so be it. But what also is wonderful about the Christmas markets abroad is that, particularly in places like Austria and Germany, there's the standards that they must manage and adhere to. When you go to a Christmas market, there's going to be price control on the drinks, there's going to be price control on the food, and the standard of what they sell is going to be key. And a couple of years ago, I was very lucky to be at the Salzburg Christmas market, and we met the manager of the markets there, and he told us that they check all the products that are for sale. So that gives me the confidence as a person. But it's more than that. It's the ice skating rinks. It's, as I said, it's the smells, Kevin. How can you explain that wonderful smell of punch and glühwein and Christmas biscuits?
Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that a lot of the places that have European Christmas markets, it snows.
As I said, I was in Vienna last week and it was 6 degrees. It was cold. I got to wear my glamorous furry jacket. I think it's important with the Irish ones that we get out and support them. It's about our local towns and villages and things, and that's nice.
Yes. Okay. So
but please go abroad. Please
okay.
get the magic.
So for someone who then is sitting on the fence and they're going, yeah, okay, well, what time of the year should I go? And should it be weekends? Should it be midweek? And for how many days? And a lot of the people who listen to our podcast were very lucky. They have children. What would you recommend for couples, children's length of time and when to go?
I would be inclined to go maybe Wednesday to Saturday. And the reason for that is Saturday night is horrendously busy. The prices of the hotels go up. And also, one of the big things is I would always recommend that people who are on the fence, who have never gone to a Christmas market before, that they should pick a city or a town that has really good shopping in it. And what I mean by that is when you go to Munich or Vienna or places like that, you have fabulous international shopping. So during the day, you can go to their lovely shopping streets. You can go and see brands and shops you've never seen before. Bring back something unusual for the family or whatever. The reason also is that on a Sunday, German shops and Austrian shops are not allowed open. There's a ruling going back yonks that says that shops don't open on Sundays.
Does that include Christmas markets?
No, the Christmas markets are open, but the shops aren't open.
Okay.
So my thing would be that I think people should go out on a Wednesday, come back on a Saturday.
Okay. What time of the year? What week?
Most of the markets have started since last week. But Vienna is the one that starts the earliest, and it always starts around the 10th or 12th of November. So we were there on the 14th of November and everything was open. Everything was wonderful. The place was jammed.
Okay. Yes.
Magic.
Okay. Now, would you do it yourself if you're a first timer or go to a travel agent? And are there agents or online agents that specialize in Christmas markets? What would be the best way?
Of course there are. And I think if you look at people like Casti Travel or Click and Go, people like that, you will see special deals because obviously Click and Go have links into Aer Lingus, etc., etc. So it's always good to see what the deals are. The earlier you book your flights, the better value you have. Therefore, you have more money for your shopping. I would kind of recommend myself that you should be going somewhere to mid to end November. If you bring it into December, they get busier and busier.
Okay. And if you're listening to this podcast and maybe you're from the UK or you're from America, we have quite a varied amount of people participating. Should they go to their travel agent? Should they go online or do it themselves?
They can do it any way they want. And obviously, people use booking.com, they use different engines, they use their travel agents. I think you have to be careful when you're booking a city break because you really need to try to be inside the city to get the magic of the city in the wintertime, to be able to walk to different places. We were very lucky. We stayed in a lovely hotel called the Hotel Sanssouci, and it was right in the museum quarter in Vienna. It was also beside the tram and it was also beside the underground. It was less than 5 minutes from one of the Christmas markets, and the biggest Christmas markets was only 7 minutes walk away. So I think you have to get it right. Of course, you can save money by going out further, but then you have to travel more. You don't always get the information from TripAdvisor or Booking.com. I still think sometimes good advice is always good advice.
And I totally agree with you. I think particularly if you're listening to this podcast and you're playing with the idea of going, I always use someone, whether I'm in Asia, whether I'm in China, it doesn't matter. I would go to a local guide, and you get great insight from locals.
Oh, absolutely. And when we were in Vienna, and this is the thing, you're totally right, talk to the concierge, talk to the receptionist, because we went to Vienna for my husband's birthday, and the night of his birthday was the night the big Rathaus, the town hall Christmas markets opened, and the restaurant that I wanted to go to was so busy they weren't taking bookings. But the guy behind the desk said, I know a fabulous restaurant downtown, sent me to it, an amazing restaurant in Vienna called Der Schwarzen Kamel, the Black Camel. Oh my God, how it ended up to be so trendy, such good value, right in the middle of this doty little Christmas market. So listen to the locals. Don't do it all on TripAdvisor.
Yes, and the other thing is get out of your comfort zone. I really think one of the big things I've learned in traveling is go somewhere new. Try a new restaurant, try a new slope, try a new shop. Yes,
talk to people.
Talk to people.
We went downtown in Vienna and we were going to go to the Sacher Hotel. I've been there many times for the Sacher Tort. And it was absolutely full with a huge big queue. So I saw a little sign saying the Gerstner Cafe. And I said, oh, wonder what that is. And it turns out this wonderful cafe opposite the Opera House in Vienna. It's been associated with the Opera House since 1869. Dates back to 1847. And I had a Wiener Schnitzel in there the size of a calf. That's all I have to say to you. And it was only €30 for veal.
Yes, yes.
So, explore.
Yeah. Let's say I persuade my son, his wife, and the two adorable grandkids.
Yes.
The four of them as a family to go. Where would you recommend as a number one spot? And what should their budget be for the whole shebang?
Okay, I think that Munich is a great destination for Christmas markets. The reason I think it's great is because it is something for all the family. It has an incredible science museum. It's got the BMW museum. It's got a lot of history of the Second World War for doing walking tours. It's got cycling tours. It's where the Munich Olympics were. You can do zip lining on the roof line. For the guys, you have these wonderful breweries. You have got the great shopping. And then you've got the Christmas markets. So that's what I mean about pick a city or a place that has legend. It has more.
Right. So it's not just Christmas markets, it's the Christmas experience.
Absolutely.
Now, what should my son budget for?
I think that sort of when you're within Europe, you should be able to pick up flights for under €150 if you're careful in terms of how you look at it. So say, for instance, maybe we're talking about Ireland. We're very lucky. We've 5 flights into Munich every day. So at least 4, but sometimes 5. So pick a place that has good value in the flights. Pick a place that maybe you look at. And also, I think a great tip for going to something like this is, even though you have to get up early, get the first flight out of your airport and get the last flight back so that you're enjoying your long days, because everybody's holidays are precious.
Yeah.
I think in general, in terms of hotel prices, you should be able to pick up a good 4-star for around €200.
A night.
And my recommend, and I'm not a booking.com fan, so I would recommend if you see a nice hotel, why not pick the hotel up? And call them and say, look, have you got a deal with breakfast? You have to play around with these things.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying, look at some of the travel agent deals. Look and see what's there as well, because you never know.
Yes, you can undercut. So, but you think as if you're there for like 2 nights minimum.
Yeah.
So you could get it for under sort of €1,400-1,500 if you're working in Europe.
Easily.
Yeah, that's all in meals, transfers, costs. What would you say then if they said to you, yeah, that's grand, but that's quite pricey for 3 days in Europe?
You're not just going on a city break. At Christmas time, you're going for an experience.
Yes.
And I think if you're lucky, particularly if you go to Vienna or Munich or Milan or some of those beautiful cities or Prague, get the music as well. People like Keith Prowse and the Institute for Culture Travel, they do wonderful trips where you can go to an opera, take in a Mozart concert, take in a Strauss concert.
Yes.
Sometimes you can make more of it as well.
Yes, yes. So finally then, would you say that it is the top markets that are readily available from an airport point of view? Would they be the capital cities? Where would be your top 3 places to recommend? Munich is obviously one.
I think Vienna is my top.
Okay.
I think Munich is second.
Give us a flavour of why Vienna is your top.
Because it's got such wonderful culture. You walk down the shopping street, you walk into the markets. Vienna was designed hundreds and hundreds of years ago in a proper fashion, and with Budapest as its mirror image. So you feel the grandeur of the city. It's a wealthy city. You have that lovely feeling when you go around it. So for me, Vienna is number 1. There's so many markets.
And there's a reason why it's been voted the most commodious, comfortable city in the world several times.
There's one market that I haven't been to, is the Berlin market. I've been to Cologne, I've been to Nuremberg, and I've been to an amazing little place called Rothenburg ob der Tauber, which is absolutely wonderful. It's north of Munich. and it has the biggest Christmas shop in the world in it.
Which is open.
I nearly got
all
lost
the year.
there. It's
Yes,
wonderful.
It is wonderful. But if you go to Gutenberg, is it?
I know, it's hard to say.
You can also, I was there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's like going back into the 15th century.
Oh, absolutely.
And the other place that you've just got me really thinking is Nuremberg. Nuremberg is such an incredible
and
city.
And because it's a walled city.
Yes.
And so I would stick to the Austrias and the Germanys.
Yes.
There are some lovely Christmas markets down around northern Italy as well. You've got Christmas markets in Switzerland, Zurich, Geneva, all those places. There's lovely Christmas markets, as I said, Bergamo, Bologna, you know, even Lake Garda, Riva del Garda has a Christmas market.
Whoa.
It's that Middle Europe
Yes.
tradition that's absolutely wonderful.
Well,
That's the essence of it.
That is it. And as you say, without putting our noses in the air, there's something about that Ireland, the UK have adapted to produce their own
have.
Christmas markets. But if you want the authentic thing, a bit like skiing,
Yeah.
I think we are going to get on that plane and go over and enjoy.
Please, everyone, just go. It's magic.
Great. Aileen, thank you so much. I'm making my plans. I'm buying it twice.
Hurry up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.